Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to Open Office Hours. I am Crystal Hinkle, part of the team here. I'll let the ladies introduce themselves.
Hey everybody, I'm Tatiana. Nice to see you all. Welcome everyone who's new.
Hi everyone, happy Friday. I'm Brandy and I'm also part of the team here.
Awesome. Well, I see quite a few new faces in here today. So again, welcome. And so if this is your first time in Open Office Hours, I'll just kind of give you the brief rundown. This is just kind of a place where if you have any questions, no matter where you're at in your journey of Syncro, whether you're trialing, you've never seen it, or you're a payer and been using it forever, it doesn't really matter. Whatever kind of questions that you have, we utilize the Q&A. So if you see me looking over to a different screen, I'm just kind of monitoring that Q&A as questions come in. But these can be how-to questions. They can be, hey, my workflow's changed a little bit. I need to have an idea of how to, change this workflow. Can I manage this? So whatever question that is, feel free to ask. We're happy to, we kind of just like maneuver through questions. If there's something that we don't know, we'll tell you that. We'll find the answer for you. And so, yes, thank you so much. We're happy to have you all here. So feel free, questions, use the Q&A, whatever you've got, we're ready to answer. When we have free time, we do like to just show off maybe stuff we know on the way, or maybe accidentally tell you about things that are not marketed yet, or live on production. So you'll always usually come away with some new information.
That's usually me spilling the beans. So if you've been with us before, I'm usually the one to spill the beans before I should. But anyways.
You're curious about something, just ask Brandy. She'll tell.
Just show up on Fridays. Brandy will tell you. I do see a question from Adam about when can we expect a BAA. Crystal might be able to shed a little bit more information on this. We don't have a date right now. I know we had a shift. We're definitely actively working on it. We've been working on this for a while, and as you guys know, it's not something that's just you sign up for and you get to be HIPAA compliant and you can sign a BAA. So we're actively working on it. Very serious. It should be coming soon. I know with the coronavirus, we did have a little bit of shift in some things that were getting done, but it's absolutely like top of our list. So.
Yeah, and if I just add to that, I think like you said, Brandy, I bet if like the coronavirus stuff hadn't happened, it'd probably be ready by now. So I do think we're a few weeks out, but yes, we're getting there. Let's see here. Question about an update on improved reporting capability, Power BI, some way to create customer reports out of the system. Hey, Matt, so I don't necessarily know if I have a huge update. I know that we are releasing new reports all the time. I had heard for a while we were considering Power BI integration. I know that our CTO kind of built something on the back end and was looking into it. But again, that sort of, we shifted a little bit. So I do know that reporting is still like on the top of our list. Like I'm looking at right now, stuff that's coming out next week is things like updates to an asset aging report, and being able to customize more reports. So as far as like additional integrations, I don't really have an update on that.
And the asset aging report is super awesome. But there's like, I know we've told a lot of people in this room also that we're doing updates to our reports and we're going through kind of like a facelift of reports. And a lot of people do ask, are they all going to come out at once? And you'll notice them trickling in, like Crystal said. We released that asset activity report, which I love. There's a lot you can do with that. And new reports coming soon. So they'll continue.
Yeah, and I think like even just with what you're saying there too, there's just a lot of things that have happened in just the last couple months, like being able to do favorites in reports, utilizing saved asset searches to run reports. And so there's a lot of things that we continue to add, and I think that we'll just do that with a lot of reports and being able to customize, and so a lot of good stuff there.
Question here from Carl. He says, I like the BAA question, plus 10 points. Yes, super popular request. He also says, other thing I was struggling with was using webroot antivirus bot elsewhere. So I want to share my screen real quick just because you do have the capability to bring over your current webroot licensing. So within Syncro, if you obviously, if you are new, you have the capability to choose from 3 different antivirus options. We do integrate with MCSoft, Bitdefender, and Webroot. These are the only apps in our App Center that we will bill you for directly through Syncro. Everything else is bring your own license, but specifically with Webroot, this is actually one that is pretty simple to bring across if you do have a current license and you want to just migrate it over to Syncro to allow for super easy deployment from the policy and to be billed for Webroot through Syncro. Just head over to the knowledge base, search for Webroot, and then here click migrate an existing Webroot account. It'll kind of walk you through the different steps. I think the only specification here is you do have to be within 90 days from the end, kind of close to the end of your current billing period with whoever you're currently with in order for us to start the migration process for you. But just follow these steps in here, and then our tech support team will also take care of kind of wrapping up that migration for you. So hopefully that is helpful to you. Let me make sure I don't have any other questions from Carl. Yeah, definitely if you need to migrate your license over, please do reach out to our tech support team. It's just help@synchromsb.com.
Speaking of migrations with antivirus, I see Douglas has a question. I'm hoping to be able to use, my current Bitdefender portal. Do we have an ETA on that? We have a lot of policies we don't want to recreate. Similar to the Webroot thing, we do want to be able to have that option. We don't have an ETA, but it's something that's been raised with our development team, and it's something that we would need to work with Bitdefender on as well. We would also like to be able to have that and allow you guys to bring your own Bitdefender licenses on over to Syncro without starting fresh. So no ETA, but it is something that we would like to be able to do.
Awesome. I'm going to elaborate on the customization capabilities of the reports. So the one that I have just in particular that's on my mind is, let me bring up my screen. I'm looking at the asset audit report. So I absolutely love this because there's several ways that you can customize this, but like say for example, I go to Larry, I can customize what I'm looking at per like device type, but if I run this report, the other thing that I can do is I can use a saved search. So in your assets and RMM, on the assets and RMM screen, you can create a ton of different saved asset searches, and you can get incredibly granular. And you can also have, so let me just go over there, because I think this is worth mentioning too. Over here in your assets and RMM, like when you create a new saved asset search, this can pull from custom fields. So, and scripts can talk to custom fields. So you can pull very specific things from an asset, populate it into a custom field, and create a saved asset search, which allows you to then create a very specific and granular report using that saved asset search feature. In addition to that, you can even customize the report. So any of the table columns that you see also on the assets and RMM screen, you can adjust, rearrange, take away columns here on this report as well. So we have added a ton of customization specifically to this report. And then in addition to that, being able to save this as a favorite so that you don't have to go through that customization every single time. You can just save that report as a favorite. Did I miss anything there? That's just a really, that's my favorite example. That's probably my favorite report. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Where are my Zoom things so that I can stop sharing for the next person that needs to do that?
And on that, Adam just says, can I request here that they add the ability to report on the graphics card in the asset report? We have a lot of architecture firms who need to see their company-wide GPU.
I wonder if you could pull that via script and then have it in that report. I don't know enough about that, but I
don't either. I did request it just now, just in our feature requests, so it has been logged, and our CTO looks at every single one of those, you guys. So,
oh yeah, absolutely. All right, what do we got next here? Let's see. Jose wants to know, is there a way to tell if customers are using the customer portal, like a login activity report, or a way to tell if they have even registered with the portal? This is a really good question. And in fact, I think Brandy and I were having a conversation last night about this customer, because as far as I know, I don't have a report for that. Do, do you know of any reports?
No, I've gotten this question actually quite often just to see if people, I know what we're talking about was a little bit different, just seeing what people can see from there and if new clients get access to this. But I do not know of a report that shows this. I have gotten this request quite often just to see, you know, are we putting a lot of effort into creating this customer portal and then nobody is ever looking at the customer portal? I don't think there's a log or anything like that, or how many times they log in, that type of a thing.
Yeah, I don't know. So the main things that I know that we've done with the customer portal just as of late, I think this has always been there, just the ability to send portal invitations to new customers. Organically, a link to log into the portal is at the bottom of, like, if you send them an invoice or something like that. There's also the ability to customize the portal user permissions. The one thing though that I don't actually know is, I guess my only thing, and I'm curious now because I'm thinking, geez, I should probably test this. So if someone logs in and say you have MFA required for the customer portal, for example, or anytime someone creates a portal user, does it populate in here organically every time someone creates a new login? Because this would be at least a way to see like who has done it. I think it populates here because you can obviously manually create this and send like a user login.
Yeah, because then you'd be able to change like their permissions also once it's created. So
I believe that it shows up here if they log in and create a portal user. It's not going to track their activity, but you'd be able to see who's created portals. Hopefully that helps a little bit. All right, what's next?
Next question is a follow-up from that first WebRoot question that Carl had. He says, I want to keep it on PAX 8. You definitely can if you choose to bring it across that way, but it wouldn't be easy to deploy it from the policy. That the WebRoot that's deployed from the policy within Syncro is the one that is built directly through us. So if you're looking to use the WebRoot that we have built in, that does have to come directly through Syncro.
yeah, you can deploy it with a script on your own, either on an asset basis or policy level, but it's just not the click of the button that enables it and applies.
That's right. Yep. And then I know there's also built-in alerts that you get with our built-in antivirus that you can run automated remediations on several of those. So that would not be available either if it's not built into Syncro. But definitely up to you, whatever makes the most sense for your business. Next question here is from Todd. He says, can you chat about how Huntress works within Syncro? So I will go ahead and share my screen here real quick. And I just realized that I wasn't sharing for that previous question, so sorry about that. What we were saying is you can deploy it through WebRoot through a script here if you needed to, but for Huntress specifically within Syncro, really what this integration does is this is another one of those bring your own license set up for free within Syncro. What Huntress allows you to do is, if we click into the app card here, it will silently deploy Huntress. It integrates into the ticketing, so if there is a breach, it'll provide step-by-step remediation instructions on how to remedy that breach. So it's not really, from what I understand, it's not really an antivirus. I don't have a ton of experience obviously using Huntress, but from what I understand is it will notify you that a breach has occurred and tell you which steps to take in order to remediate that, and just silently deploys when you deploy, when you set up the integration there.
Got a question from Aaron. I set up my agent to have multiple different contact forms. So he's referring to the agent contact forms. I know we've talked about this a little bit in open office hours previously. One of them is an emergency one, but I can't see anything at all different in how tickets come in when using that one versus the normal support request. Can I flag or route those tickets differently? So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quickly. And what Aaron's referring to, and I'm going to go in a couple different places here, is going to be your agent contact forms. So when people are clicking on their system tray icon and they're able to create a ticket. So what I've done, and a lot of people have asked if you can set up different agent contact forms or if your customer can select if it's an emergency or not. What you'll do is you'll come into policies and you'll go into your agent contact forms here. We do have a support request and an emergency example. Now on the back end, what you're gonna wanna do is you'll wanna set up, okay, this one's an emergency, so you could have a certain issue type, and I don't have one in here, but you could name one like emergency ticket. Or you could have a custom field for that. And then what you can do is you probably stopped here, Erin, and then you can go into your ticket automations, and you'll want to go in the admin section. You can set up ticket automations, and you could say, okay, if a ticket type came in as an emergency ticket, or you could even do the status, the ticket subject, whatever it is in here, but we'll just say the ticket type is an emergency ticket. Now you can come in and you can have it email you, post to Slack, different types of things in here. So I would you could change the priority if you wanted to do that and just make it an urgent ticket. So make sure that you go into your ticket automations in order to kind of finish that process. And if anyone has questions about this, I'll actually just show you real quickly if I can pop into a remote session and show you the difference. To the customer, the agent contact form is going to look the same, but on the back end, it's just going to trigger a few different things here. I should have popped this up, but from my system tray icon here, which is going to be your logo, then you would be able to give them different options for, and I need to move this back down here, for the submitting the ticket and the emergency option. So they would be able to see those options in there. Yep.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to grab this one from Tony. He said he's mentioned in the Facebook group, but any chance of a remote task manager startup tab? With clients working from home on their own devices, I'd love to be able to support them by disabling all junk on their home PCs. If this could be integrated further to allow for some automation with alerts that new items were added to startup and so on, that would be great. So a couple things. I think if I just, there's a few things. I think there's a lot to this question. So I just want to throw out the information that I know, and hopefully this will spark maybe the best way for you to handle it, not know a little bit more detail. But one thing that I wanted to show you is first is in your admin section, and then I'm going to kind of get a little bit further into the nitty gritty. But if you go to your notification center, you'll see like whoever you have in different notification sets. There is a notification for any new, what is it, like any new applications or something like that. I wonder if I should just do
installed application.
Application installed, okay, or updated. So like if someone from home like installed something new, like you could create an alert so you could be notified about that and then like quickly run a script to disable it or contact them and be like, hey, like we need to not have this on your computer. So that's one way for you to be notified right away. The other thing is in a policy, there's like process and services monitors also. So if there are certain things that you don't want running, or if they start up, you want them to automatically stop, you could just go to process and service monitoring. So like, for example, hey, I mean, this is not probably a great example, but you could see like if it's not running, you could have it start, and then you could also have it, if it's running, you could stop it. So you can also set up automations as well. So if there was something that you wanted to stop, but then also run a script to uninstall it, you could go ahead and generate a remediation for that as well. Let's see. I'm trying to think, is there anything else? Obviously, Syncro Live, you have Task Manager. It's like it takes you to the Task Manager by default, but and you could stop those processes manually, but this might be a really great way to catch it in real time, and then using that notification would be helpful as well. Can you think of anything? Did I miss anything on that one?
No, I think you did a really good job.
Okay, so the other one I was just seeing in order, and then I'll mute myself again. Is there a way to filter or sort the part order list both in progress and completed? I was trying to find something I ordered in the past, but the search all things search box didn't bring up any parts results when I searched for a word that was in the description. I was just going to do this in real time because I don't actually know if I have like a specific answer for you. I was just going to go to, so let's see, if I go to this pending order, and if you guys know something better. So pending orders, inventory parts orders. What's the best way to do this, gals? If something was ordered in the past. Is there a report? Yee. I don't know. I might have to, Bradley, I might have to find out for you because I'm not really sure. And if anyone else has any ideas, happy to know, but I don't actually know how to search for things that have been ordered in the past, especially if it's a part order aside from a purchase order, because that I think is a little bit different as well. So let me do some research on my end, and I'll hopefully have a better answer for you.
Okay. Next question here is from Evan. He says, I feel like I'm probably just doing something wrong, but is there something that needs to be configured to have new emails sent to support email addresses and send email alerts to our technicians? So I'll share my screen here real quick on a couple things that you might want to take a look at. So first things first, in the admin section, I'm going to open the notification center as well as scroll down all the way to the bottom and take a look at the mailboxes. So first things first, I think there's two questions in there. First things first, you need to set up a mailbox within Syncro. This is where you set up a forwarding email address to whatever email provider that you're using. So any one of your customers who emails help at your company or whatever email address that you put into here, it would forward into your regular email provider and start generating tickets for you. That way you can say, I want to always create tickets from emails received to this mailbox, or just make the selection that makes the most sense for you here. But you do have to set up this email forwarding in order for your mailbox within Syncro to work. And then separately outside of that, in order for your technicians to receive email updates, that would be done within the notification manager. So you can set up as many notification sets as you want. You can choose who you want to apply those users for. Make sure these are actually selected. I've spoken to someone before that just had none selected, but they did build a notification set. So just something to look out for there. But once you have your users selected in here, you can choose for them what events they want to be notified depending on what is the most important to you. And that should be, once you have that set up, that should be functioning as expected. And if you run into any issues with that, or if it's not functioning in the way that you are anticipating, definitely reach out to our support for further assistance with that.
While you're showing the mailboxes, Jeremy just asked if there was any way to have invoice emails and ticket emails come from a different email address. I can see, and just here, you can only have one outbound mailbox active at a time. You could have multiple inbound mailboxes, but only one outbound mailbox active at one time.
That's correct.
All right. What's next? Let's see. I'm looking at Bill's feature requests. It would be nice for us to be able to authenticate one time per login session to view saved passwords in assets, opposed to having to add the master password every time. Yeah, I can see the value there. What Bill is referring to is if you use our password vault and use custom fields to store encrypted passwords or whatever, you do have to enter the master password every time. You don't have to do that if you utilized credentials, but those aren't, I don't think credentials are linked to the actual asset. So that might be an additional click. So credentials, you don't have to do that every time, but yes, custom fields you do. And that's a good, I can pass that along.
Adam, I want to let you know that your request is being actively looked at and commented by our CTO. So they are looking into, because they're saying that when you were asking about the graphics card, that it's already in the system info. And so they're going to see what they can do about getting that added for you. Yep.
Oh, sweet. That's awesome. And then another one from Matt. Sorry, I should have been more descriptive. I know exactly what you mean. The report for like the applications, we're working on that one. Right now, you can see like how many apps are installed across that customer, but not like which asset it's linked to and that kind of thing. So yes, we are absolutely working on that one. I know that for sure.
Another question here from Matt. He says, we are struggling with notifications, trying to suppress notifications when techs are off duty. Any suggestions? So for this, I actually just double checked in our knowledge base articles recently. I think it's been a couple of weeks now. We did ship business hours within Syncro. So I was kind of looking through here and see if there is an option to suppress notifications within the business hours. And I personally did not see any. Maybe if one of the ladies want to chime in, I'm not sure there is a way to do that currently with business hours, but again, this is something that we just very recently shipped. So any types of those requests, I'm happy to pass along to our dev team. If you guys want to be able to suppress notifications after hours, we can definitely ask them to do that. The only other thing I can think of outside of that is we do have within ticket automations, you can pull in those business hours into here, and you can say run only during working hours. So if you have a ticket automation built into Syncro where you have set a certain condition, and then how you're responding to that condition is to email the assigned tech or email the someone else with a custom email address. If you want only those running during working business hours, you do have the capability to plug that into there. But outside of this ticket automation within the notification section, that is definitely a feature request. I can see the value in that. I'm definitely happy to pass that along.
Yeah, I was going to say the ticket automations as well. So that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a question for the group on this one, because Douglas is saying I would love to be able to put a script in the tray icon for customers to run. So yes, you can have like a command line command there. And I know people have done some things that way, but if anyone has found an easy way, and what I'm assuming is just like in automated remediations, there's a drop down where you can select the script, right? And then it would just pull in from any scripts that you've imported into your system and be able to run them from the system tray icon. If anyone else is doing this a different way, feel free to provide any information. I don't know if you guys have any further information on that, but I've gotten this request quite often recently. So I like that. And then Jamie says, is there going to be an ability to uninstall applications perhaps on bulk without creating scripts? Yep, I think so.
You just, yep. One thing, the only thing that I was going to add there, yes, the uninstall applications straight from the installed applications page. Yes, it's definitely a highly requested feature. I know that we'll do it. In regards to the script, this is a total workaround. It's a feature request at this point to be able to run a script from the system tray icon, but just so that you all know, you can have your customers log into their portal and run a script. Again, super workaround, not at all answering the direct question, but just thought I would show you that if that person has permission to see their assets, if you create a script, you can make that available on their customer portal. Just throwing that out there.
Probably not going to want all of your scripts on there, but when you do create the script, it'll give you the option to be able to make it. It's not on a customer basis though, just FYI, it is going to be available for all customers on their portal, but you can pick and choose who has access to their assets if you just want to restrict that.
Mm-hmm. Another request in here from Jose. He says, is there plans to add registry editor to Syncro Live? Could definitely pass that along for sure. Mm-hmm.
It's a plan to do that.
Yep. Here comes Brandy with her.
Let me
spill the beans with Brandy is what we've decided that it was going to be called, but yep. That's funny.
Let's see here. What else do we got? Did you guys address this one? I don't. With regards to inbound email addresses, I have one set up and it is set to forward, and it works when I do it from my own domain, but it doesn't work when coming from existing clients, which is the setting I have it as. Was that in addition to something else?
I haven't read this one yet.
Neither have I.
With regards to inbound email addresses, I have one set up and it is set to forward, and it works when I do it for my own domain, but it doesn't work when coming from existing clients, which is the setting I have it as. Are you, I'm confused. Are you saying it's working right or it's not working, or maybe a little bit more clarification on that one? Maybe I'm missing something.
It sounds like emails are coming from his domain, but not his customers. So if it's not coming from your customers, I can share that real quick. The way you should have this set up is that I'll make sure that in your mailboxes, you're always allowing tickets to be created. And there, correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is what he's referring to. Make sure in here when it says automatically create tickets to emails received from emails received to this mailbox, make sure you have always selected here so that they start filtering into the ticketing system. Another spot you could look is if you have your leads section enabled. Anybody who's not a current customer is going to start filtering into your leads section, and you can take a look in here. Make sure you select all to view all of the leads. Hopefully that at least points you in the right direction until we get some more clarification on your question.
Yeah, Tatiana, he's saying, so a client emails my help desk at, but it doesn't generate a ticket. But if I send it to as a test from my own domain, it does work.
Oh, interesting.
Why wouldn't I be able to limit it to only existing clients?
So you can.
Yep.
Yeah, you can say only for existing customers there. If it's not, if anyone outside of your own organization is trying to email you and tickets are not being created, even though you have this properly selected as only for existing customers, or you have always selected here, I have no idea how we would troubleshoot that. That would be a tech support type of question.
Yeah. For sure. And I think like the testing with like your own domain, like we recognize like in the ticketing system, if it's coming from an internal, it won't create a ticket like it, or I don't think it should, but I don't know. But yes, what I would do, John, let technical support know if something's not working properly. And then also if there is any other questions just in regards to setting up your own domain also, we did just put SMTP into public beta too. So if you wanted to be added to that, that might be an option. I know that that's been super helpful for people, and they've been utilizing the heck out of it. So
yeah, and real quick too, just while we're chatting about that, I'm gonna just share my screen. If I have one of these screens pulled up here, just a little tip that I get from people. People ask this question all the time about emails and tickets and how they can generate a ticket without it being, 50 new customers. So if you just pull up a customer and you go to edit them and you head on over to the custom fields, if you add their domain, it's automatically going to generate an email rule for you. We do get this quite often. And so that's just a very easy way to go ahead and what it does is now anytime you get an email from this domain, it'll automatically add as a contact for this particular customer rather than creating a lead or a new customer for you. So just a little tip.
Evan has an update for John. He says, if John's not getting the email at all from customers, did he create an Office 365 distribution group and forget to allow mail from outside domains? So might be an outside of Syncro type of setting, sounds like. Thank you, Evan.
That was good.
Super helpful. We have a request here from Daniel. He says, is there a place where we can have shared community library of scripts for the community to use? Yes, yes, yes. Surprise, that is already available. So built into Syncro, if you guys haven't seen this, we do have a community script library. We all try to show this on all of our demos because there are constantly scripts being added to this community script library. This is how many you guys submit to us. This is how many we have reviewed and posted here for everyone. So we do verify all of these before we post them here. The list kind of goes on and on. And so yes, you do have access to these. If you see one that you want to use, you can just import it to your scripts. You'd be good to go. And then at that point, once it's part of your own script collection, you can edit it. You can add other things from the PowerShell module that we include for you. We recently updated a new command in here that allows you to create an alert within Syncro that allows you to that it becomes a part of your asset activity log that you can then export and build a report off of. So we are constantly adding new scripts to the community library that you guys submit to us, and also making sure that we're keeping our PowerShell module up to date as much as we can to try to make things as easy and automated as possible for you guys. Good question.
I'm going to grab this one from Dave because I'm just going to read it because I like it. So I pretty much use Syncro 100% only for just deploying remote access so I can get in and do things. It's been so useful. Thank you. I'm using none of the other stuff. It's very awesome. Do you have a beginner's orientation? So matter of fact, we do. We just released this actually. I mean, we've always had, well, we've had a lot of these resources just in general, but what we've done is we now have this training tab. And I think, so if you have been a payer for a while, you might have to enable this. So this training section, if you go to your admin section and go to tabs customization, because again, I can't remember how they filtered this. If you're already a payer, if you have the I think you have the ability to add the training tab, but I don't think it was there by default once we released it. So you can enable training, and so you've got this training tab here. It's really nice. It'll teach you how to, kind of do the preliminary stuff, and then it'll also give you some onboarding videos and link you directly to a lot of the resources that we have. So this has been really nice, really helpful. Continue to come to open office hours because you'll learn a lot here. And then we also have our YouTube channel as well. So all of those videos that you just saw in the training tab, they're here as well, but you'll see that we have a lot of videos. Really great ways to kind of start to learn the product. Especially what's nice is that we've started to break them down into smaller videos. So if there's like something very specific, you can search for that. I highly recommend, if you have not watched or looked at our like scripting engine overview, this customer training scripting module, you can unlock some crazy power, and our scripting engine just keeps getting better and better as well.
Mm-hmm. Crystal, a couple people are asking how to enable the training tab. Looks like they can see it.
Uh-oh. It's available, right?
I'm pretty sure it is available.
Should be. Surprise!
Oh gosh. Oh no. So, really? Okay. So what you could do, if you go to more an admin, the way that you can enable that, if it's live, goodness gracious, let's make sure it's live. Tabs customization.
Yeah, it's available.
It is.
So it might be down at the bottom. If you're a payer, specifically if you're a payer, or if you've had your account for a really long time, it might be at the bottom. But you can drag it, move it around. You of course don't have to have it on your top tabs. You can have it in that like more drop down box as well. So hopefully you'll find it there.
Yeah. And just FYI, I'm going to address this to everyone because Paco's asking if he wanted to contact WorldPay. Do we have a direct contact? We do. I'm just going to drop it to everyone. If you're interested, no matter where you are, if you're a paying customer of Syncro or you're on trial and you just want to get some different rates and learn, I mean, WorldPay is really awesome, and it's actually the only one that we integrate with that you can do ACH payments with. But your customers they can make payments from their portal. You can have recurring invoices, just auto pay. They can also store their information from their portal. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that in the chat box, but I just wanted to make sure that everyone knew when I send that it's not a random message.
Awesome. Yes, that's good. I'm going to start at the top here and get through, and I want to make sure we address Mario. Awesome feature request. I agree. The request is, so when you're creating a customer custom field, you can have like a checkbox option, but his suggestion is to have multiple checkboxes, which would enable you to, instead of having to create like a new custom field for VoIP, managed services, Office 365, you would have one custom field with multiple checkboxes, and I dig it. So we'll pass that along for sure, Mario. I'm going to read this out loud. I haven't read it yet. I would like this from Randy. I would like to send emails based on status. Example, waiting on customer, email customer in 24 hours pending close. We'd like to close this, okay? And if we get an okay response, change the status, resolve. Can we? So, Randy, couple things. I think the answer to this is like a little bit of a yes and no, but what I want to share here is, let's go. If you are not fully utilizing ticket automations, I definitely recommend taking some time to go through these because there's a lot of things. I'm just going to go into one that's probably already been created. Okay, so this is where, like, if you have a ticket status that maybe you've emailed your customer, so like um, when when you have emailed a customer from the ticket, the status will become waiting on customer. And then, so you could say, like, hey, if this ticket had not been updated in 12 hours or something like that, then you could say, let's go ahead and email the customer again and say, hey, I'm checking in, you've got all the available templates and that kind of thing. Because then what's nice is that when they do reply to the ticket status will automatically go to customer reply. So if there's like if they reply to a ticket, it will automatically go to that customer reply status. And then, and if we get okay response, change the status to resolved. This one's a little bit more difficult because I can't imagine that every single time you get a response, you would want it to automatically change the status to resolved. I mean, you can, it is an action, change a status. But I just can't imagine that would be like every single time. So one thing I did want to show you that I think is pretty dang awesome that we added, geez, was it like last week or 2 weeks ago? Within a ticket, what's really cool is that um, when you go to email your customer here, you can email them and then also, oh shoot, you can email them and then also change the status of the ticket as well. So if they respond and they're like, yeah, great, good to go, then you could say, like, you could send an email with a canned response and then say submit and then resolve it. So a little bit of yes and no to that one, Randy.
Mm-hmm.
Did I miss anything?
I don't think so, no. I have a couple here I want to address just because there's a couple in a row that have to do with email and forwarding and parsing and things like that. So first one here is from Matt. He says we need to be able to parse emails when they come in and determine what to do with them prior to leads or tickets being created. The email rules aren't sufficient. Could available variables to act on be expanded? That is definitely a feature request, just asked for it for you. So hopefully keep an eye out. I can definitely see how that could be useful. Same thing again with John. He says, I receive emails from outside clients to at the mailbox, just doesn't go into Syncro. That I can tell help us at is a mailbox, not a distribution group. I'm not sure how to assist kind of further beyond what we've already shown you. So either reach out to your account rep or tech support. We can't troubleshoot on if we don't have all the details, unfortunately. And then I think those were the two that I had specific to those.
Perfect. Couple coming in here. Good, Bradley. I'm glad that your domains that saved you. Speaking of script libraries, would be nice to have folders. Have already requested that from our team. And then John says, I see you have custom fields in your customer view that has encrypted or locked information. How do I enable that? So really good question. What you're going to do is you're going to go into more and you're going to go into the App Center. You're going to go all the way down and you're going to see Password Vault. So from here, you'll be able to set this up. What happens when you'll have a phrase. Remember, this is super secure. If you want us to reset it, we can't. So we don't have the key to it. You guys will be the only ones who have the key to that. So make sure you save your recovery codes there. But what's going to happen, whoops, I'm going in the wrong place. But this is what they look like. They're encrypted and you would type in your phrase and that would populate. If you go into the admin section, whether you are creating a custom field for a customer, a contact, an asset, or a ticket, when you create those custom fields, in order to have it be an encrypted field, you'll just choose secret and then you'll be able to select that. So it's just called Password Vault and it's built into Syncro, no additional subscription required.
Mm-hmm. Couple questions in here. Randy had a comment. He says, you can use Zapier to parse emails and create tickets from them. So it might be something to look into. If you take a look at our App Center, we do integrate with Zapier and maybe set up some zaps to utilize that parsing, kind of additional functionality that we don't currently have built in for parsing emails. Roger asks, do we have assigned account reps? Yep, it'll be one of the three of us. One of us is happy to help you. You probably have received some automated emails from us. Unless you've opted out, then you wouldn't have gotten any, but if you write into help at, they will get you connected to the proper account rep, so no worries there. Let's see, those are the two ones that I wanted to get out of the way.
I see. Love the office hours concept. Any consideration for creating an MSP user group that could provide feedback and help prioritize functionality specific to the MSP business model? I really like that. We do try to do, I mean, open office hours hasn't been around too long. We just came up with it one day and it worked really well and we continue to do it. We have had like special guests previously. We've had two, one moving from break fix to MSP, which if you are break fix and you're considering switching or you're kind of a hybrid right now, we do have a recording of that one. And then we also had Ross Decker join us once, who came from Autotask, migrated a ton of endpoints over the course of a couple hours. So we try to do things like that. If there's specific topics that you guys would love to hear, let us know that as well. But this is good feedback, because we've kind of toyed around with having some different weeks, not just us in open office hours. So I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then also for the ones that she just mentioned too, those are on our YouTube channel. So if you want to go back and rewatch those, and then, you know, we are continuing to bring consultants in and that sort of thing too, to do webinars. We have, obviously there's Syncro. Our company also has Repair Shopper, and we did a webinar with Repair Shopper on Wednesday, and that was very specific to like like transferring your business or taking your break fix business and beyond. So if anyone has any interest in having that recording too, just let me know and I can send that to you. But very good suggestions. I saw this, and I'll let Tatiana talk about it. But go ahead, Tatiana, because I saw you posted that for the team too.
Oh, the SynchroCon. This is so cute, you guys. We would love to do this for you. This has been requested. Yeah, it's been requested previously, and we do travel to some conferences, but I do think something for our own users would be so epic to meet you guys in person and get even more feature requests, kind of just hang out, get to know each other, talk about the other things that everybody's doing to advance their business with Syncro, and kind of work together to try to, help each other grow in your businesses, as well as what else we can build for you guys. We love hearing that kind of stuff, and I think an opportunity to meet like this in person would be absolutely epic. Of course, after all this insanity dies down, hopefully you guys are all doing okay. We had somebody was saying like to do like a virtual conference or something like that. I don't know if that would be something that we would work towards, but definitely we love that suggestion and would love to work towards that.
I know, I'm very game for that. I think once everything, so since this has struck, I mean, we've now missed 2 conferences, and I mean, if you didn't know this, our company is 100% remote before this happened. So like, we've always worked from home. So for me, like, these conferences have been like so lovely for me to like actually see people face to face. I know that once things settle down, we do have a few other ones that we're planning on going to, and we do plan on, I would like to make everyone aware of the conferences that we will be at, just in case you want to come hang out. I know Erin did that. It was so wonderful to meet you in person, and we get to meet people other conferences, like we go to ASCII and Robin Robbins, which we get to meet a lot of our customers there too. So once that starts happening again, you guys will be the first to know, because I'm just like, please.
No, we'll just come up with our own. Like, come to open office hours. We'll plan it, and then we'll just have our own little mini SynchroCon, and we'll do some.
It'll be awesome.
I do see a couple questions, and we'll make sure, because it looks like we only have 11 minutes left. Crazy. This has gone fast. There's a lot of people with us today, though. Lots of questions. This is good. Colin says, I know this has been covered in previous weekly open office hours, but what's the best way to go about setting up a rule to have Syncro automatically see assets for specific clients and bill them according for when their count goes up and down? Really good question. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you here. Best way to do this is if you go over into your recurring invoices, and I'll just pop open an invoice here. And if you go down to recurring type, so there's a few different ways you can use this. The asset and RMM counter is what I would use. The first step would be setting up a product in your products and services section, and you would just title that per endpoint billing or whatever you wanted to call that. We call it per endpoint billing. If you are going to bill them the same amount, no matter if it's a server or a workstation, you can just come down to Syncro device and it's going to dynamically count how many managed devices they have each month. So if you're adding 6 devices, then next month it'll add 6 devices for you without you having to change that. So you will see these different counters in here. Another way you could use this is if you do bill differently for servers and workstations, you could set up like a per workstation billing. And okay, I'm going to bill them $70 for how many workstations they have. These are going to be based off of saved asset searches. Anything you create a saved asset search for, you can bill dynamically off of. So if you create a custom field on an asset, and it's maybe an Office 365 checkbox, and then you want to come in here and count how many assets have that checkbox and charge them $5. Then you're able to do so. And where those are going to come about is if you go into your assets in RMM and you go out to the left, any of these you can bill dynamically off of. So you could come in and you could just say, you know what? All workstations, create a workstation one. So hopefully that helps, but I love these. You can bill, regardless of if you have your antivirus or your backup within Syncro, you can just create a custom field for it and you can still bill that way. Hopefully that helps.
Awesome. I'm going to quickly go through a couple really quick. From Douglas, any plans for Syncro Live to be accessible from the customer portal? Super transparent. That's not, I don't see that on the near future roadmap. I know if you're using something like Screen Connect, you can give your customers access. There is a free version of Screen Connect. If you go to our blog, we have a really good article on that and how to set it up. And then these are 2 questions from Gabriel, but I think the first one for sure is a feature request, and I hear you, a tree view for assets and RMM screen. Absolutely hear you on that one. One of the things too, just in addition to that, if you're on the assets and RMM screen using, the saved asset searches, that would be great. And of course, if we could add, customer to that saved asset search, it'd be a workaround, but I agree with you, tree view. One thing I wanted to show you really quick too, I think this is live, but again, it might not be, but you can now minimize this. This was really, really requested. And so now when you minimize this, it'll remember that you did this. And so when you log back into your account, it'll be minimized as well. So just want to show you that that was there. And then number 2 was to be able to manage in a single console RMM antivirus. It would be nice to be able to monitor the use of accounts, for example, Office 365, Google Apps. It might be useful if a mailbox is full or understand what license is associated with a particular Office 365 account. Yeah. Totally, I see what you're saying. I will say when it comes to like the Office 365 account, in regards to just managing that, I would highly recommend if you are in the US looking at PAX 8. But yeah, I definitely agree with the feature request there. Whew, go ahead.
I have a couple here. Again, a lot of these that are coming in are feature requests, and we're happy to address them for you. A couple things I wanted to show real quick is we do have first one here. When will a complete glossary of available fields and descriptions for script writing? So that's an interesting one. We do have, I'll show you, we do have on our YouTube channel a video that kind of is a deep dive into how scripting works within Syncro, just because we do believe we have one of the most powerful scripting engines on the market. And so if you take a look at our YouTube channel, I can also drop this into the chat box. This is like a almost 22-minute long video, and it really kind of goes through and shows you the different capabilities that we have. I will send along your feature request as well, but I'll drop that into the chat box. Next feature request is from Scott. He says, hey, back again for another week for rich text to BEG to beg. I thought that was an acronym. To beg for rich text and ticket updates. I know I ask every week. I am a squeaky wheel. Seriously, training end users how to do things, especially right now, really important. Also, already have this rich text editor in other areas, just need end tickets. Yes, I hear you. Definitely something that we would want to work towards. And again, we do pass these along to our team as soon as we hear them. So appreciate you kind of staying on that, especially if it's important to you and you think it's a request that will benefit other MSPs that are using Syncro. We want to prioritize those, so we do appreciate you sending those along.
And then Randy just asked about HIPAA. This is something we did address a little bit earlier, and Crystal mentioned even if coronavirus didn't occur, we think that this would already be done, but we are actively working on it. It's just something that was pushed back a little bit, you know, based on priorities, but it's going very well, and we hope it will be done very soon. I think it will be done very soon.
Yep. I was just reading through this one from Scott, the 2-level ticket automation, where it's like, wait a little bit, check in with your customer if you're waiting on a response, and then kind of have like a last ditch one where it's like if it's been 120 hours, a way to make not all tickets with no response just close, sort of like last chance before this closes, which I think you can add a 3rd level, right? I think you could do that. It might be a separate ticket automation, but I think you could achieve that for sure.
Mm-hmm. Another request here, Matt says, I know I've raised this before, at the risk of repeating it, a paid professional service offering to deploy or customize Syncro would not only drive revenue, but make adoption much quicker. We would have gladly paid rather than struggle through on our own. I hear you on this one. We are constantly developing resources to make deployment and implementation of Syncro as easy as possible. We don't want to build a super complicated software that you need to pay to learn how to use. We would rather try to make it as intuitive as possible and then offer as many kind of self resources to assist with that. Again, that training tab is something brand new that we were working on, and super happy to have deployed that. Again, free resource, open office hours just like this. If there's other ideas that we can do to help you guys implement Syncro, we're here for you. We want to see you succeed, and definitely I know we have received requests like this in the past. I just don't know if this is something that's going to be implemented, at least in the near future. I have another vote for that one as well. Let's see. I think that is the 2 that I had marked there.
Let's see. So we've got 3 minutes and a lot of it's like 7 more questions, right?
Yeah.
Let's see what we can do here. Join late, maybe this has been asked. Is there a way to assign assets to a new ticket when parsing inbound email? Zapier was mentioned, but since the default form in the ticket module where you can change field values doesn't include asset names, can Zapier be used for this? It would also be really nice if you could change customer assigned to a ticket in the same way you can change status or priority. So a couple things. I guess it all depends on how that ticket was created, to be honest. I don't know if that can be achieved through Zapier. I'm not really sure if that's a trigger. I don't think that it is, but I'm not positive. The best thing is to have contacts assigned to assets and have them use the system tray icon to create tickets. I think that's like the best way to do it. And then you don't have to deal with setting up different zaps or automations or anything like that. And then as far as being able to change the customer assigned to a ticket in the same way you can change status or priority, I thought you could do that. Let me just really quickly, if I'm in a ticket, really quick here, let's go to this ticket. So customer, I guess you have to, oh, sorry, I hit the wrong button, but you have to hit change. So it's not like just a drop down, but still you can like change it to a different customer. I mean, yeah, so you could change it there. Am I answering that? And then assign a specific contact if they're already created as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Next one here is from Bradley. He says, when customers are merged could it add the email or name from the merged customer to the contacts field of the remaining customer? This is the second request I got for this week. Currently not available. If you do merge customers, the merged customer does not get added as a contact, but I definitely can see how that can be helpful. He says, or additional email fields for a single contact. I have a customer that doesn't know how to choose the work email when they send an email, when they send a message in, and occasionally sends from personal email, which isn't listed on her customer portal until I manually change the contact, which is okay for one user, but I don't think that will scale well. Yeah, I hear you on that one. We will pass that along for sure. And then another quick one is any plans for integrated network discovery tool? Yes, yes, yes. SNMP monitoring, probably number 2 request after HIPAA. Very highly requested, very actively working towards that.
Couple real quick. I see, Jeremy, that was just saying, just like you can bill dynamically based on asset count, you can do it for contacts. So he has like a mobile versus desktop user, which is awesome. You can absolutely do that. And then I see, based on where did it go? That email domains customer custom field tip that I had given. What is the exact field name? And I assume it should be a field text. So it's actually already built in, unless I'm wrong. You don't have to create a custom field for that. It should just say domains. So just pull up a customer, hit edit at the top, and toggle over to custom fields, and you should see it in there.
I love this. Roger wants to know if it's a Syncro policy that we don't have anything hanging on our walls. So
you would die if you actually saw what else was on this.
This is like the cleanest part of my house, but this. So you'll love this. I like one of the times I like to have flowers. Oh no, it wasn't even flowers.
Oh, didn't you have a dead plant?
It's plants in here, and I am not a very good plant person. Tatiana is the plant person. Well, it was dead and literally in full visibility dead, and someone said was like, hey Crystal, you need to like water your plants. So now I'm like more minimal now.
That's funny. I actually turned my desk, my desk faces the other way normally, or my computer does, but I figured you don't really want to look at photos of my family in my office, so I just turn it and have a smaller desk for these. Maybe we'll come with Zoom backgrounds next week. I was gonna do that too.
Cute.
I even threw a guitar over there because I have some chords right there that I don't want you to see. And so I was like, oh, this looks like something to throw here.
It's hilarious.
Oh boy. All right. Okay.
Start a band.
I just ordered a keyboard. This is how bored I am now. I just ordered a keyboard to learn how to play the piano. Did we miss important questions? Sorry, we got off on our ramble there. Did we miss any good questions? And not, they're all good questions. Do we miss any questions? I think. Let's see. I raised this with support already, but if anyone has to go, I know we're running over time. So if you do have to go, thank you so much for attending. We're going to grab a couple of these extra questions because I think we have a couple of extra minutes. Mm-hmm. So if you do have to go, thank you so much for joining us. But let's grab these last couple here. Mm-hmm. I raised this with support already, but I think this is worth being the squeaky wheel. QuickBooks Desktop integration will currently create duplicate invoice numbers. If an invoice is created manually in QuickBooks, Syncro will then create new invoices with the same invoice numbers. Yes, it will. That is true. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know like if that's something that when you typed into technical support, we always take those feature requests up, but with QuickBooks Desktop, there is no two-way sync at all with QuickBooks Desktop. So it's all information from Syncro to QuickBooks Desktop. So definitely have heard that before. So thanks for bringing it up. What else?
I'm asking for the second one. I'm asking our support for the second one. The question is, I know we have the ability to require multi-factor on the customer portal now, but can individual customers opt into multi-factor just for their own login, or do they have to request us to enable that checkbox for their account? I think it's the latter, but I will double check for you.
I think it might be the latter too.
Mm-hmm. If it's not, I will let you know.
Okay. All right, let's see. Need to fix emails to merged tickets. When we merge a ticket, new emails to the old ticket just say they were sent to a deleted ticket, not merged. Oh, Randy, have you said that to technical support yet? I'll write it down right now, but that's a good one for sure. Okay. Whoa, there's an empty Q&A right now.
Did it. You guys, 104 questions today.
Woo!
That was good. That was awesome. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it too. That makes my Friday. It's a great way to start the weekend. I like it.
Absolutely.
Not that the weekend started yet, but it's Friday.
Not like
every day is the weekday these days. So
but we really do enjoy doing these. You can tell we're starting to rock in the corner a little bit, and we like talking to people. So thank you for attending.
Yes.
Appreciate you all. Have a wonderful Friday. Hope you have a fabulous weekend. Stay healthy, stay safe. Join us next week. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye everyone.